Hello everyone, welcome to Joseki Lecture 18. It's been a long time, mostly because I was busy, but don't worry, the Joseki lectures are still going on, just probably at a slower pace. I'll try to catch up. Today we'll be covering something else. Last time we finished Kema defense finally, and hopefully you guys are more confident about it. Today we will be covering White's jump defense, as you probably have guessed, right? Like it's very normal flow of the series. So against White's d6, well, Black has a lot of choices, right? So let me first of all explain why would White defend here instead of Kema defense. We all understand Kema defense is looking for territory. It's more territorial because it's on the third line. We also cover the most intuitive, right? Kick and defend like this. That's just the territorial to the extreme. C6 still looking for some balance, but then we have D6. You might be wondering, well, is this for influence? I would say you are 50% right? This is looking for influence for sure, but there's a more specific reason why White would want to play D6. The reason you want to play D6 instead of C6 is you don't want Black to Tanuki locally. Let's say Black plays somewhere else, White can follow up with the kick at E3. When Black extend, White can go ahead and pincer from the side. And now, as we can see, the D6 is putting a lot more pressure on the Black than if a White stone was at C6. So let's take a look. So if White decides to play C6, Black can Tanuki, and Black often Tanukis, and that's usually what is played in pro games. Is at this point, there's no good way to really attack Black. When you kick and counter attack, first of all, Black has the counterattack idea, but even if Black plays this excellent E6, it's looking at weaknesses that White is having. And this C6 looking just looks a bit squeezed by Black, right? Black is making great use of this weakness here, and he is very comfortable. If we have prepped and we have played D6, this is putting more pressure onto Black F3 stone. So that's one of the main reasons why you would play D6 instead. But obviously, it's on the fourth line and it helps building your moyo. So if you're a moyo player, just to play D6 in your game. But if you're a territorial player, I think most of the time you would love to just be more territorial in your game. So, but today we'll cover what happens when White jumps. So if you just go for like the old Joseki, I have absolutely no problem with that. I think pretty much every one of my viewers knows this, so I'm not going to cover too much this one because it's just old and it's so common. Today I will cover what happens when Black makes the AI move, and as you can see that most of my Josekis are very updated, and then it's all around AI moves. It could be annoying for White when you encounter this move, and as Black, I encourage you to try it out, and obviously try it out after I have covered the entire series on this jump move. This can get quite complicated, but today we'll cover the simple variations. That is for White to connect at D5, and now Black is going to follow up with the D2 move. He's really hoping for White to play the Kosumi at C3. If White plays Kosumi at C3, Black can now go ahead and extend himself. And this is slightly worse for White. Why? Because originally this was the Joseki, and then Black decides to play E5. Instead of White playing a more efficient move such as C8 or even Tanuki, White decides to actually connect to d5, and now if we look at d5 and the c3 stones, these are a little bit repetitive, and Go is all about efficiency. Black's every stone seems to be perfectly placed, while White looks very squeezed together. So that's a loss in terms of efficiency. So you don't usually want a loss in efficiency this early in the game. So my suggestion is when you encounter this, just extend to the side and there's absolutely no problem. When Black Kosumis at a c3, you can go ahead and just start playing somewhere else, and there's absolutely no problem for you. So Black gains some stuff locally, but you got compensation elsewhere by thinking in a very flexible way. So this would be a continuation that I recommend to both sides, and I think the game should be quite peaceful from this point on, or, well, I mean, the thing's going to happen from elsewhere, not from here locally. So quite easy to master variation. I think I recommend my viewers to go ahead and play out d5. But today, my other focus, apart from the d5 connections, is to introduce you a quite simple and unusual variation that you can play out in tournaments, in casual games, doesn't matter because it's Joseki, to just surprise your opponent, right? To play something that your opponent has not seen before. That is for you to Kosumi at c3. So that's quite an original variation that you can play out in your game. If you're a territorial player, you can choose to Kosumi your corner and secure some territory. At this point, Black should probably just extend back, and then White can go ahead and Tanuki and start playing somewhere else. But in case you wonder, what if Black, don't we have a cutting point over here? Like, what if Black does that? Well, here's how you defend this overplay. You would Atari, Black is forced to connect, descend, and then White can connect at d7, and these two guys are pretty much dead. Why? Because after this Atari, if Black turns, White can just cap Black inside. And then we obviously can tell, trying to fight these guys, it's not possible. But if Black trying to run, first of all, if Black cuts, we can tell that this ladder is not going to work out. So the best way for Black to do something is to run. But after White pushes here, White can start to break out from here. And then, as we can see, seems like the ladder is not working, but you can do this as a Tsuji problem for maybe 7, 8 AQ players. That is for you to, you can pause the video, and then when you come back, this is the answer, right? We can't ladder, that's true, but we can net the group, right? If you try to run and you try to run, sorry, you only have 1 liberty left. So that would be game over right there. But if Black cannot stop this, that's going to be disastrous. This stone is dead, these guys are in danger. And all these second line and first line combination is also terrible. So at this point, Black is dead, these 4 stones. So as Black, do not overplay, but if your opponent does overplay, you know how to punish him at this point. What about if Black goes ahead and start pincering very aggressively? Well, White can just simply defend like this. Remember to push out. If you Tanuki, Black gets this, and then this is a very strong outset. Very important for White to break Black's potential. So now Black's facing a little bit difficulty now. If he decides to settle this group, we can pincer these 2 stones. The good thing is that our corner is alive, and then Black is under attack. But if Black plays the 2 space extension, White can go ahead and pincer these 2 guys. So I would say the game's still equal, but I think white is taking the initiatives and momentum of the game. So you're the attacker, and you always want to be the attacker because your opponent pays for, if he runs, still a game. You can probably start playing somewhere else. But this move definitely helps white building over here. So that's how you would defend against black's aggression, the push and cut, and the approach from the other side. So not a bad move to try out. So we covered the connection. To recap, so we covered the connection. We have this one. Remember to not kosumi, rather you should make an extension. And the game likely goes like this, right? Like, so you can play out like this, and that's no problem. And I recommended a very, very cool move that you can try out in your game. And we said if black plays this one, we have an excellent way to punish him. Is at this point, if black still insists, we push here first, and then check. We have successfully won the game if it plays out like this, right? So black cannot push and cut, but black can go ahead and make very aggressive plays. That's okay. We can defend ourselves and then push out, making sure that black is split up. And if black fixes this side, we can pincer this side. And obviously, if black decides to protect this side, we can pincer from this side. Since our corners are live, we're pretty happy with it, and we can start an attack. If the attack does not work out, we can go ahead and immediately play elsewhere. That's absolutely no problem. So the game likely goes like, if black jumps out, we can go ahead and try to attack him later, right? We can go ahead and grab what is important, which is territory. So that's going to be the content for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time.